It is better to be feared than loved if you cannot be both. You enter the room and the air changes. People still talk, but their eyes check the clock, the agenda, the way the chairs are set. This is where power flips. Not when you defend yourself, not when you explain your heart. Power flips when you move first, set the frame, and make the rest of the table argue inside your language. No defense does not mean cruelty. It means you refuse to live on the back foot. You start the count. You draw the borders. You decide what a win looks like. Then you force time to serve the plan. The first strike is framing. You name the problem in a way that makes your solution obvious. You define success with a number, a date, and a threshold that can be measured without debate. You anchor the timeline so delay becomes a visible cost. In a staff meeting, you speak first. We have 7 days to cut response time by 20%. Success means fewer escalations, not longer reports. The room tips. The late critics must now speak your verbs. Cut, reduce, ship, because you turn those words into the grammar of the day. In a family dispute, you set the frame before feelings flood the floor. We decide tonight, we test for 30 days, we review on the first. The calendar becomes your ally. The story follows, and your rivals must argue from inside your outline. Speed over sympathy. Your instinct is to ask for understanding, to explain, to soften. Their instinct is to secure position while you search for the right words. Delay is not neutral. Delay is a market where coalitions grow against you at a discount. Every hour invites another side chat, another quick sync, another rumor that paints you as the problem to be managed. Move first and the map hardens around your lines. When a rival asks for more alignment, you move the deadline forward by a day and offer a concrete deliverable that locks the path. When a committee wants more data, you publish a pilot and define the metric that matters. Sympathy that asks for endless patience turns into tribute. Sympathy that guides logistics, support, tools, guardrails turns into results. Speed is a shield. You answer in action, not apology. You publish the plan, assign the owner, set the check-in, and document the risk. When someone tries to drag you into a feelings debate, you bring them back to the scoreboard. This is the target. This is the time. These are the resources. Do you commit? A calm question turns fog into facts. If they commit, you note it and move. If they refuse, the refusal becomes part of the record. You stop feeding arguments that do not change outcomes. You stop paying the tax of eternal explanation. Your voice grows simpler because your steps are scheduled. Sympathy that delays decisions is an instrument of defeat. Sympathy that guides logistics, who needs what, by when, at what cost, is leadership. Know the difference and act before the crowd decides for you. You are the weather. You do not beg for good conditions. You create conditions others must plan around. Stand like a storm that keeps a schedule. Speak in short fronts, outcome, deadline, consequence. When people approach you, they learn your climate, steady temperature, rare thunder. If someone wastes your time, a cold front arrives, access tightens, priorities shift, budgets remember. If someone delivers under pressure, the sun comes out in public. Credit, proximity, new territory. They do not guess what you value. Your weather teaches them faster than any speech. The point is not to intimidate. The point is to be predictable, and therefore unavoidable. The predictable force sets the cost of resistance. The unavoidable rhythm sets the tune everyone must dance to. No defense is not rage. It is calm, ethical, and decisive. You do not hit first to hurt. You move first to define. Your standards are published in daylight. Your penalties are proportionate and rare, announced once and enforced once with receipts. Your rewards are specific and public, so people know the path without flattery. You will be called cold by those who prefer your confusion. You will be called proud by those who live on delay. Ignore the noise. This is not a performance of harshness. It is a refusal to be managed by hesitation, gossip, or staged outrage. You make the machine visible so the drama has nowhere to hide. You have been trained to protect your image. Protect your time instead. You have been told to be nice. Be useful, scarce, and reliable. Invite peace by building order. When you take the first step, the ground appears under your feet. When you wait for permission, the ground shifts under someone else's words. Decide who writes the first line. Decide whose clock rules the room. Decide now. Move first, define, and make time your ally. Men forget more easily the death of their father than the loss of their patrimony. You were trained to treat agreement like a life jacket. Let's all align, they say, and you exhale thinking safety lives in the circle. But early consensus is a sedative. It slows action while incumbents trade favors off stage. The smiles at the table are a curtain. The scene change happens behind it. You watch the stage waiting for your turn to speak, while the roles were cast in a hallway the night before. Harmony feels humane, but it often means the game is fixed and the clock is used against you. Consider the Monday meeting, labeled Alignment Items. The chair asks for a quick thumbs up to move forward. In that instant, options die. No one wants to be the lone hand that slows the room. Outside, the chair's ally messages a vendor to lock terms, assuming agreement. Inside, the room nods. You did not align, you were aligned. Stop seeking approval, seek outcomes. Replace "do they like this" with "what moves the metric by Friday?" Ask for 2 executable paths, not 1 pretty slide. Make any motion pay a visible cost, and you will see who truly supports it. Consensus is not useless. It is useful after the knife work, after trade-offs are priced and losers are named. Agreement then is a seal on a deal, not a blanket overthinking. Until then, discomfort is a compass. If your proposal has no opponent, it is not a proposal, it is an ornament floated to keep you quiet. When you hear, "let's all align," ask, on what constraint, at what cost? Who is accountable if this fails? If the answers blur into slogans, you are being lulled, not led. Agree late, verify early. Now the halo. You were told that being nice buys durable loyalty. Politeness, generosity, endless availability, its glow is intoxicating. In calm weather, the halo draws applause, but applause is not leverage, it is air. The first scarcity punctures it. Picture an office stand-up. You bring coffee, you praise effort, you cover delays, Slack reacts with hearts, quarter end arrives. Budget shrinks, you must choose which initiative dies. The hearts vanish. The same voices that adored your kindness accuse you of favoritism for cutting theirs first. The halo was credit, the interest rate just spiked. On a community board, you speak softly and volunteer extra hours. You avoid firm no's to keep peace. A scarce grant lands, factions emerge. Your past niceness becomes memory. The present fight becomes arithmetic. In an online team, you host extra calls, mediate disputes, and write recaps at midnight. Then you deny an extension because the launch window closes next week. Overnight you are cold, no conditions cooled. The halo did not protect you. It disguised the exchange. Kindness without boundaries teaches people that your time is free and your standards are negotiable. Affection stays while resources flow. Affection recedes when resources pinch. Be civil, be clear, but buy leverage, not applause. Set terms in daylight. Here is the support. Here is the deadline. Here is the forfeit if we miss. Praise loudly. Yes. Also prune. The person you keep after a difficult cut will trust you because you made the cut. Authority is not cruelty. Authority is the courage to be predictable under pressure. Niceness is sugar. It dissolves in hot water. Principles are salt. They remain when the boil begins. If you want loyalty when it costs, build it with earned dependence, not with compliments. Then the theater, policies, open forums, public comment threads, the rituals sound like fairness. They have a role, they distribute explanations, so outcomes land without riot. But many outcomes were drafted before the hearing. The pilot that proved the vendor, selected months ago by a committee whose names aren't on the poster. The open vote, a tally taken after the whip counted noses. The transparent rubric, a grid whose weights were tuned to match the winner. If you spend your nights crafting glorious speeches to the forum, you will still lose to the paragraph hidden in the first draft. Look for first drafts. Who wrote them? Who had edit access? Whose calendar shows recurring 7:30 a.m. check-ins? Those are the arteries of decision. Forum microphones collect feelings. Side rooms collect futures. When you speak in the halls, speak for the record, not for the result. The result is shaped where interruption is impossible, and note-takers are loyal. If you want influence, enter early, not loudly. Contribute language that becomes the template others must fight. Owning the template is quiet power. It is the map that makes every later argument uphill for your opponents. Shift from outrage to noticing. Outrage burns time and signals inexperience. Noticing maps leverage. Trace budget lines, hiring slots, integration costs, switching friction. The person who defines feasibility writes fate. Ask what would make the opposite choice impossible. Hunt constraints, not villains. When you find the hinge, an expiring contract, a scarce credential, a dependency no one can replace, you can move the door with one hand while others pound on it with 10. Gather the thread. Consensus used as sedative, halo used as trap, process used as theater, all three keep you reactive. You wait for approval instead of creating advantage. You chase affection instead of building options. You shout at ceremonies instead of drafting the script. You become unarmed because your hands are busy clapping. Put your hands to work. Price decisions. Protect time. Tie support to terms. Walk backstage calmly. Make small, quiet trades that accumulate into position. Let others perform. You will position. A leader under love is rented. A leader under leverage owns. Do not fear losing the room. Fear of losing the ability to decide when the room is loud. Safety does not live in consensus, transparency, or praise. Safety lives in preparation that does not need applause. Choose the uncomfortable conversation today to avoid the humiliating apology tomorrow. When scarcity arrives, and it will, you will not be surprised by the vanishing affection or the scripted fairness. You will be holding the pen and the script will already be written in your hand. Trade approval for position. Choose leverage over lullabies. The wound you refuse to see writes your schedule, spends your money and signs your name. In the mirror behind your face stands the shadow, your exiled hunger, your avoided anger, the child who still waits for permission. When you defend the wound, you stop deciding your life. Own it, or it will own your next move. Approval hunger is a handle. When you need to be liked, you do not lead. You seek cues. A warm smile tilts your judgment. A cool silence bends it further. Praise and quiet become steering wheels in other people's hands. Some use it without thinking, others with skill. They pay in compliments or in the absence of criticism, and you work like you owe them. See the price list of your buttons. One flattery buys 15 minutes of extra work. A public shout-out buys your weekend. An award nomination buys a year of over-availability at a discount. On Monday, your manager says no one solves problems like you, and by Tuesday you are carrying 3 other people's problems. On social platforms, a blue check replies and you spend an hour drafting a response thread that serves none of your goals. You are not being seen, you are being steered. Translate the chemistry. Approval spikes dopamine. Silence drops it. Your nervous system loops. Seek signals, adjust behavior, earn relief. Break it by converting praise into terms. When the velvet language arrives, you always deliver. Name, scope, deadline, and trade-off. Thanks. What result matters by when and what moves off my plate. If the praise dissolves at contact with clarity, it is currency for manipulation. If silence lands like a threat, hold position. Teach your shadow that your value is not rented by applause. Conflict avoidance is tribute. When you dodge friction, you pay for peace with compound interest. The math is cold. You avoid a tough conversation. The flawed plan survives. Because it survives, extra tasks appear because you absorb them. Others learn you are safe to overload. Promotions slow because leaders promote decision makers, not professional absorbers. Credit leaks from your name into the background because you let meetings drift without decisions. Map the chain. A client asks for just a small change, and you nod instead of clarifying impact. 3 days later, that small change touches 6 files and 2 teams. You stay late while the original requester sleeps. In stand-up, you say, "It's fine," and the room silently assigns you as the drain for future ambiguity. Clean conflict upstream is cheaper than chronic stress downstream. The shadow grows teeth when you refuse to use yours. Rewire the habit with simple moves. Speak the uncomfortable sentence within 24 hours. This scope exceeds the time. What do we drop? In meetings, convert vibes into decisions. Who owns this? What's the definition of done, and when is it due? Decline without apology. I won't be available this weekend. At first, your throat will tighten, breathe and deliver the line anyway. Your nervous system learns that aliveness does not require universal approval. Each clean boundary returns energy you can spend on real work. Rejection fear becomes self-bidding. When loss terrifies you, you start negotiating with yourself on behalf of the other side. You offer discounts before asked. You soften deadlines before pushing. You talk yourself out of standards to avoid the sting of no. The irony, people respect what you respect. If you don't respect your line, they won't either. Watch the loop in real time. A prospect goes quiet for a week, and anxiety writes your email, happy to lower the rate if that helps, and I can extend the trial. No one asked for that. A partner hesitates, and you jump in, we can deliver earlier if needed, even though earlier means pressure you cannot sustain. A friend delays confirming plans, and you start arranging every detail to make it effortless for them, then feel invisible when they cancel. This is not kindness. It is fear disguised as service. Opponents, conscious or not, run a simple playbook on this wound. Delay, ambiguity, crumbs of reassurance. Delay cooks your panic. Ambiguity invites you to do unpaid thinking. Crumbs keep you orbiting the table while your standards starve. Turn anger into a teacher. See the part of you that still begs at closed doors. Then change the choreography. Install a counter playbook. When delay appears, do not add free value. Add a decision frame. 2 options, A by Friday at X price, or B by next Wednesday at Y price. Expires Friday noon. When ambiguity floats, pin it, define done in 1 sentence. When crumbs arrive, love your energy. Ask for the meal, confirm in writing, scope, price, start date. If they drift, stop chasing, reallocate your time to those who answer clearly. Silence is data, let it filter, not frighten. Under all 3 patterns lives the same shadow, a child who learned that love follows compliance, not clarity. Approval, hunger, conflict, avoidance, rejection, fear, different masks on the same face. You defend against old pain by surrendering present power. The work is not to harden into cruelty. It is to integrate the part of you that longs to belong so it no longer bargains with your value. Practice integration daily. When you feel the tug to impress, return to your posture, feet grounded, breath even, sentence slow. Ask one clarifying question before any yes. When you feel the urge to escape tension, picture a bridge over a river. Your voice is the bridge, cross it, deliver your line with low heat and clean edges. When you fear being left, remember you cannot be abandoned by what is not truly with you. Walk toward people who choose you without discounts and toward work that requires your full standards. Individuation is not isolation. It is choosing from the center. The shadow stands beside you when you invite it to speak. It says, protect the boundary, respect the standard, name the trade. This is not an argument with the world, it is a treaty with yourself. In that treaty you stop defending and start deciding. Your calendar becomes a map of values, not a museum of other people's emergencies. Your voice stops shaking, your eyes clear, you feel the ground. Stand now in a quiet room. Put your hand on the door of an old pattern. Turn the knob the other way. Out there are fewer people and better agreements. Out there you are not steerable by praise, not taxable by silence, not purchasable by crumbs. Out there you are legible to yourself. Choose from the center, not from fear. The room looks ordinary until the price changes. The door lingers open a second too long. Smiles tighten at the edges. Words arrive pre-polished, soft as velvet, sharp as wire. Power shifts like a chair pulled half an inch from the table. You sit anyway because habit wears the costume of safety. In the side meeting, nothing dramatic happens. No raised voices, no slammed folders. Only the quiet arithmetic of interest. They call it alignment. They call it the future. They call it best for the team. In slow motion, you watch loyalty repriced without blood. The partner who swore commitment last month now speaks in neutral tense, as if promises were weather and the forecast changed. Their pen touches a notepad they never read. A calendar invite opens like a small, polite guillotine. The contract you thought was trust reveals its invisible clauses. Exit at convenience, credit redistributed, gratitude optional. You notice the choreography. A compliment softens the first cut. A vague concern makes room for the second. By the third sentence, the outcome is embalmed. This is clinical. This is medicine administered with a smile. You tag each phrase as a specimen. For now, given constraints, we need optionality. You ask one clarifying question not to save yourself, but to measure the depth of the whole. The answer is merciless. The price has moved. Your shares of trust are now pennies. Let the loss register. Do not rush past it. A fall deserves its full height. Outside, air hits like cold water. The old identity, good equals safe, cracks at the seam. You were moral, agreeable, patient. You waited your turn and believed turns still existed. Politics answers with a shrug. Your chest tightens, then opens. The map you used was for a country that no longer exists. You don't curse the map, you replace it. Humiliation arrives without costume. A word withheld in the meeting becomes a rumor before lunch. A project you nurtured is presented by someone who learned your language yesterday. Your name dissolves into an optional footnote. The burn travels under the skin, begging for a speech, a reply all, a public trial. Instead, you pull out a notebook and convert heat into coordinates. Humiliation is a compass when you refuse to look away. Start with timing. Who moved first? Who struck when the calendar favored them? Write it down. Effort did not lose. Schedule beat it, then optics. Who looked decisive under bright light, and who looked unsure because they didn't rehearse their face. Write it down. Merit did not vanish. Presentation eclipsed it. Then alliances, who kept a coffee calendar that stitched the room together while you carried more work in fewer hands. Write it down. Truth did not fail. It arrived without an escort. You were right, but alone. Note that precisely. Your checklist becomes a ritual you guard. Public milestones posted before private approvals can evaporate. Brief, simple updates sent to the few people who actually move budgets. Pre-commitments secured while the weather is clear. Negotiations that include a fee for reversal so betrayal carries cost. A calendar defense that protects launch windows. Training your posture so disagreement reads as composed, not combative. A rule for rumors: never argue with smoke. Build a fire of your own proof. These are not slogans. These are bolts in a door. Test the angles with modern scenes. In a startup, you build the prototype. A strategic hire announces the direction on stage. Your response is not a threat of protest, but a dated roadmap you published 2 weeks earlier, making attribution expensive to steal. In a nonprofit, you protect a colleague's mistake and watch it become your label. Your response is not a confession to the mob, but a closed-door fact pattern with the chair and 2 allies who value receipts. In a family business, politeness gets rebranded as weakness. Your response is not a louder smile but boundaries with teeth. Scope in writing, deadlines with terms, favors tracked like inventory, pain becomes policy. Rage enters like weather after heat, thunder building from a blue sky. You imagine the reply all that detonates bridges. The meeting where you recite every detail until the room chokes on accuracy. The post that collects applause from people who love fire but never rebuild. The fantasy feels righteous and promises speed. You set it down, you stand where your feet are. In for 4, hold for 4, out for 6. Again, 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 your pulse drops from war drum to metronome. Thought returns to the helm, fire becomes fuel that waits for a proper engine. Silence is not surrender. It is staging. You open a clean page and title it Stillness. Under it you write 3 lines. Assets I control, options I can create, moves that add leverage. You inventory skills without romance. You list platforms where your work can live without gatekeepers. You mark relationships that are genuine, not merely convenient. You ask what value can be shipped in the next 2 weeks that no committee can take hostage. Then you schedule 3 small meetings with people who make decisions, not noise. You bring 1 page, 1 demo, 1 ask with terms. Your communication changes shape. Fewer words, more dates, fewer hopes, more terms. You stop forecasting your ambition to rooms that eat vision for lunch. You start delivering artifacts that force choices. You practice the readable no. That timeline doesn't protect quality. Here is a plan that does, with check-ins and an exit clause. You treat kindness as design, not sacrifice. You do not become cruel, you become expensive to mishandle. Days fold forward. Numbness visits, blank, heavy, oddly clean. It isn't defeat, it's your system rebooting under a new operating principle. Good is not the same as safe. Clarity is, you feel less chatty. You feel more awake. You keep an hour with no phone, so your mind remembers what unoccupied air tastes like. You track victories in centimeters, not headlines. A meeting moved to your calendar, a deliverable carrying your signature in public, an introduction you initiated on your terms. You sleep, not from exhaustion, but from policy. You pass the building where loyalty was repriced, and notice your breath stay even. The glass holds your reflection without asking for apology. You see someone who learned the language of rooms that pretend to be neutral. You see posture. You see aim. The old identity didn't die. It was reforged. Morality without strategy becomes bait. You choose both. You fold your values into procedures with teeth. You make promises you can protect. You stop auditioning for seats that were never yours and start building tables that don't wobble when the wind turns. When the next offer comes, and it will, you read the clauses before the compliments. You ask what it cost them to betray you. You ask what it costs you to leave. You ask what data you will own. You write the answers and adjust your stance. The storm doesn't frighten you now. It warns you. You let the wind show you where the walls leak. You repair, you reinforce, you continue. Betrayal without blood taught you the price of softness. Humiliation mapped the angles, rage gave you heat, stillness gave you aim. Breathe, note, design, move. Calm first, then terms. Men are driven by two principal impulses, either by love or by fear. You were taught to be good so the storm would spare you. You paid in patience and politeness, and you called the lightning fate. That story belongs to a softer kingdom. Retire it. In the world that actually pays, respect is not charity. It's calculus. Love is not the engine. It's the heat that rises when the engine runs. You do not beg for shelter. You build the walls, place the gates, and set the prices for entry. From deserving to designing, you stop asking whether life is fair and start asking where the lever is. No more, I tried my best. Instead, what incentive moves this person today? You craft options. You make the right thing the cheaper thing. You treat praise like candy and levers like fuel. Map the room. Who wants speed? Who fears risk? Who needs status as oxygen? You price each appetite. You shift a deadline and the mood changes. You hold a silence and the table leans in. You replace the flimsy hope of being liked with the durable habit of being useful. When someone pushes your boundary, you don't debate your worth. You change the terms of access. You learn to walk with a ruler's calm because you carry switches that reroute behavior. You write your policy, reward reliability with proximity, reward results with equity, reward clarity with faster decisions, starve gossip of attention, starve chaos of your calendar. Your meetings shrink, your memos sharpen, your reputation hardens. The more you think about mechanisms, the less you explain yourself. Mechanisms teach on their own. People learn the exchange rate when outcomes repeat. Bring value, gain access becomes a law of your small state. Scarcity as policy. You concentrate value, so your presence bends the room. Specialize until imitation becomes expensive. Speak less so your words weigh more. Deliver at decisive hours, so time itself becomes your ally. Example 1, career. Instead of daily chatter with your manager, you send a surgical monthly brief, 3 bullets, revenue protected, revenue created, risk eliminated. Arriving 2 days before leadership reviews, your document is rare and tied to numbers. The raise becomes the cheaper choice. Example 2, consulting. You retire open-ended scoping calls. You offer a premium diagnostic 1 week, fixed price, fixed deliverables, limited slots. The waitlist becomes a silent drum that increases decision speed. Your price rises without a pitch. Example 3, social and dating. You stop lingering everywhere. You curate a small monthly salon where the conversation has rules and the guest list has intention. Invitations are scarce. People arrive prepared. Access to you equals access to signal. You didn't threaten your worth, you condensed it. Scarcity demands discipline. You prune platforms, cancel the just checking in habit, and make your calendar reflect your priorities. not your fears. You exit the always-on theater. You publish operating hours for responses and stick to them. You let your absence produce a mild mystery. Then you let decisive delivery erase the need for explanations. The fewer the notes, the cleaner the melody. The fewer the appearances, the stronger the silhouette. Your name begins to travel without your voice dragging behind it. Predictable kindness, credible teeth. Your kindness becomes a budgeted policy, not a mood. You protect beginners because terror wastes talent. You credit contributors loudly because it multiplies loyalty. You refund small mistakes once because human beings learn faster under dignity. But penalties, rare, documented, unmistakable, arrive without theater. If a vendor misses twice, you reassign the contract and publish the criteria for selection. If a colleague lies, you escalate with dates, evidence, and calm signatures. If someone insults you in public, you choose a proportional public correction, a clean factual reply, a removed privilege, or an exit that becomes a lesson. Your goal is not revenge, it's governance. The kindness is predictable, so people feel safe. The teeth are credible, so they feel alert. Together they produce respect without noise. Boundaries teach faster than speeches. When you let violations slide, you don't look merciful, you look cheap. When you document, price, and enforce, you don't look cruel, you look inevitable. People recalibrate in days. Slack threads grow shorter. Meetings end on time. Sorry is replaced by fixed. You stop bleeding energy on negotiations that never end because the policy ended them for you. Your peace is not an accident. It's an engineered environment where incentives do the heavy lifting. Understand what love becomes in such a state. It is not the trembling need that begs, "Choose me." It is the quiet gravity that forms around competence, scarcity, and law. People admire the person who can be counted on, who is not everywhere and who does not flinch. They feel proud to stand with you because your standards elevate them. They feel safe to disagree because your kindness has rules. They feel wary to betray because your consequences are certain. Affection grows in the shadow of order. Desire follows the one who can say yes and mean it, no and keep it, later and deliver. You do not chase it, you generate it. So close the old chapter, "I'll be protected if I'm good," is a lullaby from a kinder century. Your new line is clean, "I'm respected if I'm useful, scarce, and formidable." Usefulness is your engine, build it. Scarcity is your chassis, shape it. Teeth are your brakes, maintain them, then drive. Let your city learn the rhythm of your lights, green and red. Let your court hear the music of your order. Love will come as heat off the machine, warm, steady, and earned. Design the levers, let respect do the talking. Everyone sees what you appear to be. Few experience what you really are. You choose which one they meet. You do not hide your shadow, you harness it. Tonight you build an operator's kit. You can use at 9 a.m., framing scripts, incentive lanes, calibrated consequences, alliance math, and clean hands. Simple, repeatable, testable. Frame then move. You set the vocabulary, the clock, and the hill to take, and you do it in the first 60 seconds. Walk in and say, "Here are the terms, the stakes, and the deadline." Then give the skeleton in 3 lines. Terms: we define success as X by Y. Stakes: if we hit it, we gain A. If we miss, we pay B. Deadline: decision by D, first checkpoint on C, a usable example. Terms: churn under 4% for Q1. Stakes: we keep renewal pricing. If we miss, we lose 5 key accounts. Deadline: decision by Tuesday, first checkpoint on Thursday. You name the enemy as the inefficiency, not a person, and you point the room at one visible dial. Say, by Wednesday 12 o'clock the demo loads in under 3 seconds. Put that dial where it is seen. Dashboard, pinned message, opening slide. Your rivals now argue on your terrain because you drew the map. If someone drags the talk into fog, you return to the dial. Does this move load time to 3 seconds by Wednesday? If yes, green. If not, table it. Frame, then move. Do not let the room wander. Now lay incentive lanes and tribute paths. People protect what pays them on schedule. On one page draw 3 columns, helps me, blocks me, unknown. List names, not departments. Next to each write what they believe they gain by helping and what they fear losing. Then set a small, sticky tribute you can deliver weekly without strain to a sales lead. Every Monday I send 2 warm intros to a designer. You get the first pick of high-visibility mock-ups each sprint to finance. You receive early variance reports every Wednesday. Keep tributes cheap for you and rich for them. Run this sheet every 30 days. Greens stay green because the river keeps flowing. For reds, identify the perceived loss and offset it with process credit, calendar control, or shared authorship. Offer favors that accumulate guaranteed review slots, a reusable template with their name, rehearsal time before public demos. Make cooperation cheaper than resistance. You are not courting, you are engineering flow. When people win by helping you, they help you because it is cheaper, safer, and faster than standing in your way. Credibility without cruelty is calibrated fear. Standards are the railings. Penalties are the signs that say the railing is real. Use the 3-step model always in writing. Step 1, announce the standard with the why. Risk notes are due Fridays at 17 o'clock, so nobody walks into Monday blind. Step 2, record the breach with receipts. Notes missed on 9/12 and 9/26. Impact was 2 hours of scramble. Step 3, apply a proportionate cost once, publicly, and move on. Missed notes lose speaking time. Next sprint. No sarcasm, no scenes. A small visible cost tied to a posted rule teaches faster than a month of size. Scale the cost along a visible ladder. First, miss loss of optionality. Second, loss of visibility. Third, loss of ownership. If behavior recovers, remove the cost with the same clarity. 2 clean months. Penalty lifted. Your receipts become your mercy. Never threaten what you cannot enforce. Never enforce what you cannot defend in writing. Fear is not the point. Predictability is. People work faster when the road has signs. Alliance math turns factions into geometry. You triangulate, pair unlikely allies around a shared interest, rotate favors, keep veto power, speak in clocks and swaps, not emotions. Example: packed engineering wants fewer meetings, sales wants faster demos, finance wants stable spend. You say, we cut status calls by half, ship a demo every Friday at noon, and hold variance under 5%. Then you rotate: this week engineering gets lighter calendars, next week sales gets homepage placement, next month finance gets an early forecast. You hold veto power on scope creep and time. Everyone gets something, no one gets everything. Normalize trading without apology. Use sentences that make politics sound like weather. You host, I pick the panel. You get early access. I get testimonial rights. We share credit. I retain the deadline. Capture each deal in a short summary. Purpose, swaps, review date. Publish it where everyone can see it. Private dinners are seasoning. Public agreements are the meal. The more ordinary the trade, the less oxygen for drama. Calm is a tactic. Deniability and clean hands protect the engine while it runs hot. You build buffers, committees, audits, timelines, so legitimacy and intent match on paper. Create intake forms for significant requests. Route decisions through small committees with recorded votes. Keep an audit trail: who decided when on which inputs. When you move resources, do it by process, not charm. Say, pending capacity review, shift 2 engineers to reliability for 6 weeks, not I prefer Team A. The file should show criteria, options considered, and risks mitigated. Fair process is the glove on a strong hand. Match the record to the intention. If the intention is speed, write deadlines, blockers cleared, and posted results. If it is fairness, write criteria, weights, and consistency checks. After each decision, send a 3-line bloom: what we decided, why, and when we will recheck. Use version numbers. If you must say no, let the paper carry the blow. Did not meet threshold on X and Y, next review on date Z with these inputs. Clean hands are not an alibi. They are armor that lets you move through storms and envy. Tomorrow morning, you open a room with a headline and a dial. Then you move. This week, you draw your incentive map and start 3 small tributes that run on rhythm. By Friday, you post the standard, log the breach, and apply 1 small public cost with a date for mercy. You draft 1 triangle pact that lets 3 camps win, and you shelter it under a calm tempo. You install buffers that make your will look like a procedure because it is. You go home earlier because the system enforces itself. You are not pretending to be pure. You are building a structure where power is boring: clocks, dials, checklists, receipts, quiet strength over noisy promise. Fewer speeches, more posted rules. Your shadow stops hiding and starts building. Frame, then move, pay on rhythm, signal the fence. Trade without flinching. Document the road. You will not blush at your own authority. You will use it to keep people safe, fast, and proud. Clear frame, steady tempo, clean hands. You stop defending your name and start designing your conditions. That is the hinge. Anxiety loses its teeth when you build a city instead of performing in a courtroom. You trade speeches for systems, clear ranks, clean incentives, prepared exits, messages rehearsed before the wind begins. Peace does not descend from the sky. You raise it like walls, brick by brick, and then you keep watch from a quiet tower. Quiet, decisive rhythm becomes the signature of your rule. You speak less because every sentence has a job. Meetings shorten, decisions land. You do not ask 5 people to bless a choice. You take counsel, weigh costs, and cut once. You stop spending nights replaying scenes because contingencies exist. Reserve cash for shocks, successor paths for key roles, standard responses for common fires. In the morning, your voice is steady because the map is drawn and the road is paved. People read it in your posture, a calm center that does not chase applause. Order shrinks storms. You schedule the weather so tempests arrive as light rain. Each week you run alliance checks. Who is aligned, who is drifting, what new fear must be priced to keep loyalty honest. You review incentives, bonuses tied to behaviors that stabilize the ship, penalties that are clear, private, and humane. You rehearse messages so that crisis words arrive like anchors, not sparks. Predictability becomes mercy. Your team learns how Tuesday will feel, how a mistake is handled, and how praise is delivered so it trains, not flatters. Modern life gives you many arenas to govern. On social media, you stop wrestling in comment pits. You publish a policy, pin it, and resist the theater of reply. In sales, you post price tiers and require written exceptions. Discounts become tools, not apologies. In hiring, you use scorecards, not vibes. Interviews end on time, offers have deadlines, and rejections carry dignity. In personal ties, you replace arguments about moods with rules about respect. Protected hours, no-threat language, cool-down protocols that prevent escalation. The predictable path becomes a kindness to everyone involved. When you design first, you no longer defend. The frame you set decides the fight before it starts. You choose the room, the time, the agenda, and the price of your attention. You move first and small, iterating before grand gestures trap you. You hold your time like currency, sold in blocks, never in endless trickles. You never punish to vent, and you never reward to buy forgiveness. You measure, then you act, then you measure again. Under this discipline, affection becomes a byproduct of reliability. Results replace drama. Now seal it with the vow of no defense, compact, steel bright, and binding. You will set the frame so others enter your order, not you theirs. You will move first because initiative taxes chaos. You will price your time so that every hour serves purpose, not panic. You will reward precisely specific praise, right-size bonuses, credit that compounds morale. You will punish sparingly, documented, proportional, private, and quick. You will keep the weekly alliance checks, the monthly incentive reviews, the rehearsed messages that keep the ship steady. You chose realism, and the noise fell away, not because the world grew kinder, but because you became an architect of conditions. Less talk, faster cuts, deeper sleep. The city-state of your life has walls, gates, schedules, and lights that turn on when they should. Inside those walls, even storms respect the drains you laid. You manage power, and love arrives as trust in your order. And when chaos knocks, it meets procedure before it meets your nerves. The line holds. Peace is what your system does when you stop defending and start designing.